All right, what's going on, boys?
What's up? What's up?
Hey, guys.
Welcome to another episode of Where Gary Williams Stole My Lawn Furniture. My weekend was all right. Not much going on in Ocean City this weekend. It was pretty quiet. It's in between weekend. We had Bike Week last week, and we got the music festivals coming up the next couple weeks. So kind of an in between week, but the weather was great. Played golf yesterday. Drank a lot of beers. How about you?
Play golf, man.
Played golf at Glen Riddle. I don't know if you could call it golf. On the front nine, it was golf. On the back nine, it wasn't very much golf.
Complete, like you're an excavator. You're just digging.
Mostly drinking. Yeah, a little excavating. Yeah, I was an arborist once or twice.
Arborist.
Yeah, I got my shit kicked in playing golf on Friday. Same course that beat the shit out of me last year. Like I haven't played it since then. Played it on Friday. Did the same thing. Almost ran out of balls again.
We were actually down in Dusty's neck of the woods. We were, well, I guess technically a little bit away, but down in Salisbury for a wedding. So congrats to Sammy and Shane. It was a beautiful wedding. Great time with a lot of really good people. I knew basically 3 people at the wedding: the bridegroom and my girlfriend. That was it. It actually was liberating.
Yeah,
to be honest.
That's fun sometimes. I've been to a couple of those. Yeah, I guess we're going to go through a little rundown of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to do some Orioles stuff at the top, and then we'll quickly talk about we'll quickly move into football. Obviously, with Sunday being yesterday, we have a lot of football fresh in our minds with the Ravens finally getting a win despite their best efforts to lose. We're going to talk Shohei Ohtani, his 50-50 season, and the game that he was able to clinch it, how awesome that was. We're going to do reactions to all the games in week 3. We're going to preview the Monday night doubleheader. We got 2 Monday night football games tonight for whatever reason in week 3. And then we're going to do a little segment that Brian's going to lead called Hall of Fame or Not, where he presents some potential Hall of Famers from football, baseball and football players. And we're going to give our opinions on whether or not we think that player should be in the Hall of Fame. Then we're going to do That's a Shame like we always do. And our snake draft at the end of the show today is going to be best coaches of all time. We're going to do any sport, and that includes college. So plenty of people to pick from. We're obviously going to leave a bunch of people off the list like we always do. But yeah, how do you guys want to start?
Let's start with the birds. I mean, the Orioles. That is.
Yeah.
You know, it's crunch time. So we should start with what the games that really matter. Even though the Ravens are important, it's still very early in the season. Let's go with the Orioles.
All right. Well, 6 games left, and we're 6 games back. So only way we can win the division at this point is to sweep the Yankees and have the Pirates sweep the Yankees, and we'd also have to sweep the Twins to finish the year. We lost a couple dumb games to the Tigers. Same broken record, same thing. Can't get guys in from third base with less than 2 outs. It's literally the reason we lost the game the other night, 2nd and 3rd with no outs, and we didn't get a run in. And then the Tigers put 2 across in the top of the 10th, and we can't win. We can't do anything. So what did you guys see this weekend? Do you have any thoughts?
Frustration. It's simplistic. Once again, I think I say it every week now. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. It's the same stuff over and over and over again. Talk about situational hitting. They're not doing it. It is extremely frustrating to watch this team play baseball right now.
Yeah.
Only light at the end of this tunnel is that we got 2 guys back, 2 position players back in Urias, however you say his last name, and Jordan Westburg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge uplift, I think. I mean, we just saw it in one game just with Westburg having that double. I think did he have a couple hits that game? I forget. Regardless, having both of them back just defensively, I'm hoping will shore that up. Mountcastle should be back any day now, you would think, as long as there's no setbacks happening down there.
Yeah.
And that'll be huge too. I mean, just think about it. Like when one of these throws goes awry towards first base and somebody like O'Hearn's there, he's doing fine, but I mean, maybe he doesn't pick a ball or something like that where Mountcastle picks it and saves somebody from a throwing error. So I think we're trending starting to trend a little bit in the right direction. Obviously, still frustrating to watch, still making stupid mistakes, not hitting with runners in scoring position like we would want. It was good to see us fucking unload the one game with 5 bombs.
Yeah.
It was just nice to see. Obviously, we don't want to live and die by that, which we have been. And but yeah, I'm hoping it's trending in the right direction. So
Brandon Hyde looks like he has eaten a turd every game. He looks so pissed when he leans up against that dugout wall.
Yeah.
And I hope he's not frustrated. Maybe it's just his natural, what do we call it, resting bitch face or whatever. But he looks angry. He looks frustrated, just like we're frustrated. But he has to live it every single day, an hour while he's at work.
he's got to be frustrated, right? I mean, I would assume so. Like, all right, the hitting is one thing, right? The hitting, I can live with like ups and downs with hitting, right? Because it's hard. But I mean, like I said, like something controllable like defense. Our defense should not be as bad as it is. And hopefully, like I said, we got some guys coming back that we're hoping will help with that. But that's a controllable aspect of the game where he's sitting there like, what the fuck, man? Like, if anything, play good defense. Like, if we're not hitting, just play good defense.
And they're probably taking extra ground balls and extra defensive work before games or even on off days. And it's still not paying off, which is very frustrating. Yeah. But like we just said, or what like Brooksy said, having those two guys come back in Urias and Westberg, that'll shore up the defense a little bit here.
Yeah. And we also got Danny Coulomb back, which is a huge help for the team. He's been one of the most reliable arms in the bullpen over the last year and a half. So getting him back is going to be great. Like Brooks said, Mountcastle, he's made 3 rehab starts in AAA. I would imagine that means he's probably going to be back this week. I don't think he would be making rehab starts. Like Brooks said, I don't think, as long as there's not a setback, I think he will be back this week. And Grayson keeps throwing bullpens, but he hasn't faced any live hitting. They haven't said anything about him going to the minors. They talked about potentially bringing him in as a bullpen arm in the playoffs. If that is the way that we're trending with Grayson, we've got Burns and Eflin, and who else? Who's pitching Game 3 in the playoffs? Suarez, Kramer, Povich?
Probably Suarez. And
right now,
we could go with an opener, maybe. Just start Cano one game.
Don't make me throw my laptop this early in the morning, dude. It's early in the afternoon,
dude. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, if to me, if it's me, it's Kramer or Suarez. But it's probably gonna come down to matchups too. Like if we're sitting there playing a bunch of lefties, maybe Povich does make a start. And it's like it's your start until you get into any kind of trouble. He's going to be on. I would assume he'd be on a short leash or something. Or maybe he goes to the pen. I don't know.
Yeah. If Kate Pope starts a game, I'm watching the Golden Girls and I'm turning the Royal game off.
We know for sure.
Scare the shit out of me.
If I had it my way, like gun to my head, I'd want Kramer out there because I just think he's a dog.
Yeah.
I Suarez can hit forever. He can throw from wherever.
The only thing we know for sure about the Game 3 starter is that if they get into any trouble, there's going to be a very short leash, because I think that would potentially be a bullpen game if we really need to. So a couple runs in the first inning might lead to a quick pull, but hopefully we don't have to worry about that. I know obviously
win Game 1 and Game 2 and don't have to worry about it.
Suarez,
that's true, but then you go to 7-game series after that. And you're going to need at least 3 guys.
When I watch Suarez pitch, I know he's had a couple rocky starts the last 2. I don't even get mad at him. I don't even get mad at the team. The rest of the team needs to step up around him because he's been such a plow horse.
Yeah.
He's been a plow horse for us all year. We didn't know who the hell this guy was. He was pitching in Asia. Like, thank God we have him. So I don't even get upset if he gives up 5 runs.
He's got something like eight scoreless starts this year. We got him for nothing.
And you know what? Like, and I don't think he pitched like too terribly bad, right? Like two solo bombs. I can live with solo bombs all day. And then the other one was a couple doubles, I believe, or a double and a single or something, whatever it was. But I mean, it wasn't like the worst thing in the world, right? So I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm okay with either, but gun to my head, I'm going. I would go Kramer because I just like the fight that he has.
We're gonna look back on this season, and hopefully we pick it up and we win the World Series. But other than that, we're gonna look back on this season where we came in with so much promise and everyone was so hyped. And I feel like a majority of our conversations have just skewed negative because of the frustration of the team, and that's a shame. And that's not that's a shame for the week, by the way.
Yeah.
But we're gonna look back at this if we don't go deep in the playoffs and be like, what the hell happened?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's just the injury-ridden season. It happens in every sport. It happens to a lot of teams. It's just one of those years from hell, injury-wise. We could not stay healthy.
That's how I'll look at it. I'll look back and think about the injuries, just because I don't remember any team being as injured as we are this year, like ever. And the fact that we're still going to win 90-some games because we started off so hot, is kind of incredible. But it's kind of hard to push a bunch of blame. And again, I'm going to sit here and say it's hard to push a bunch of blame onto the team or the manager or whatever right now, when like there's only so much you can do with all the injuries. But again, I go back to like, you got to fucking play defense and make the routine plays, like your fundamentals.
And you got to get runners over. You got to hit fly balls when you need to. Like it's baseball 101.
Mm-hmm.
Those you got to execute when it matters, because that's how you win and lose playoff games. That's the difference. I don't know.
I would agree.
Anyway, I love talking about the Orioles, but it's just it's been rough the last month, so it's really hard. I don't know what else we can say positively. The Yankees are just hitting moonshots left and right. Judge has 55 homers now, I think. Soto's got 40. They both have over 100 RBIs, which is crazy.
On the flip side, the Royals are going to play themselves out of a playoff spot right now.
I know. What's going on with the
Royals? 6 straight, unless they won last night. I didn't see what they did last night.
They lost 7 straight.
Shit.
7 straight, man. And they are 1 game above the Twins and 2 games above the Mariners with 6 games to play.
How do you think their fans are feeling right now?
I don't know.
What's their podcast yelling at right now? Jesus.
They're probably yelling about how Bobby Witt should win MVP over Aaron Judge somehow.
If Bobby Witt comes to Camden Yards in the playoffs, I'm going to be scared shitless. Like I might have to go to his hotel room and lock him in the door.
And they've got a lot of good starting pitching. Their problem is their bullpen is not very good.
Terrible.
But
all right.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's we'll move on from this.
I want to smile. I get to see you guys once a week. I want to smile. I want to be happy.
Here's the good news. We can clinch a playoff spot. We've got 6 games left. We have to win either 2 games or we have to win 1 game, and either the Twins and Royals have to lose 1 game. That's it. So we are pretty much clinched in the playoffs. Knock on wood. We are playing October baseball. So that's good news. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50. The game the other night was absolutely insane. We were talking about it in our group chat. It's a shit ton. I was talking to everyone. I could talk to anybody who knew baseball at all. 3 homers, 6 for 6, 2 doubles, 2 stolen bases, 10 RBIs. I think the last home run was off like a left fielder or something like that. It was a 68-mile-an-hour pitch. I did see who it was. It was big money Mike Baumann, wasn't it?
Yeah. I told Ryan Ripken, I was like, you should have Baumann and Mesa on the show at the same time to talk about
their homers they've given up.
And you had Brooksy earlier in the year. I think he has Mike Baumann tattooed on his back. Yeah, he was like beating the drum to bring him back or not to DFA him or something like that.
Well, I didn't want to DFA him just because, like, I just didn't think the guy's got too much promise to do that. But obviously he hasn't pitched well during the rest of the season. But I mean, I said at the beginning of the year when he was having his struggles, I was like, it looks like he's tipping his pitches pretty badly. So we'll see. Hopefully he gets it straightened out down there in Birdland South down there in Miami.
Yeah.
This is a top 3 game of all time by a singular player.
Yeah.
And people are already recency bias. They're going to say it's the greatest game by a player. I want to bring to attention two games that are also equally as amazing as what Shohei Ohtani did. Don Larson threw a freaking perfect game in the World Series. All right. It's actually called perfect. And when Ted Williams was batting .399 and could have rested out the last two games of a doubleheader to hit 400, they could have rounded up to 400. He ended up going 4 for 5 and 2 for 3 in those games to end at 406. Those are pretty impressive as well. So let's not just immediately jump to 6 for 6, 17 total bases, 10 RBIs. Look, it's a phenomenal. I'm not trying to demean or to take away from what he did, but let's just pump the brakes a little bit and put it in park.
Yeah,
and look at history as well, guys.
Yeah, I also want to bring up. I want to bring up two other games that you didn't mention. The Josh Hamilton game in Baltimore, where he hit 4 homers and then hit the top of the wall for a double on his fifth at bat. Mm-hmm. Also, Sean Green had a 4 home run game where he went 6 for 6. He also had a double and a single, set the record for most total bases in a game, 19. Had 5 extra base hits, which is a record tie. 4 home runs is a record tie. He also had 7 RBIs that day. So a couple
Sean
of
Green,
crazy.
Name I haven't heard in a while.
It's a name. Now, I understand why people are immediately bringing it up as the best game of all time, because he hit the 50-50 marker at the exact same time. And I get that. He set a record while also just crushing the baseball. But there are other great games that we just can't just forget about because Shohei Ohtani did this last week.
But what he's done this season is absolutely outrageous. By the way, he's hit 2 more home runs since this game and stolen 4 more bases. He's got 53 and 55 now.
60-60?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. You think he could hit 7 home runs in the next 6 games? That would be insane.
Yeah. I would like what Brian – I was going to make – or not make the argument, but say like what Brian already said it, like it's more impressive that he – like a lot of times when you get close to like some of these record-breaking numbers, a lot of people go on some cold streaks because they're pressing too hard. And he just comes out and has his best game of his career, which I thought was impressive that he just that happened. So
he saw that moment and he rose. He rose to the occasion.
They talk about Roger Maris when he was trying to break Babe Ruth's record and how his hair actually started to fall out because he was so stressed and he went on a little bit of a cold streak. Before he actually hit the home run to.
I think he went like 10 games or something like that without hitting a home run, which was odd for him, obviously. But yeah, I remember watching a documentary about that too.
Yeah, we've also seen the movie 61 several times in this family.
But John Boy still never seen Field of Dreams.
He's seen look, I played it at the bachelor party.
I think he was watching the Will Levis video instead. I think it's pretty crazy. Look,
that's the best performance Will Levis has had this football season.
Dude, we're going to talk about Will Levis in a little bit, but God, that guy fucking sucks at football. I think Ohtani, I think this is insane. Obviously 50-50 first person to ever do it. I think it's going to be really difficult for anybody to replicate this. Maybe with the big bases, people are stealing more. Maybe it'll happen, but the only players who have done it have had 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in separate seasons are Barry Bonds and Brady Anderson.
Good.
By the way. So this is that puts into perspective what he did this year, that only 2 players have done both of those things in separate seasons, let alone he did it in the same. Also, 2 years ago, he was 4th in the AL Cy Young voting. So this guy's ceiling is like nothing we've ever seen. He's probably the best person to ever step on a baseball field, and he's only been in the MLB for 7 years.
I want to bring this topic up again. I brought it up maybe 2.5 months ago. Do we see him pitching again?
Yeah, we do next year.
He's next year. He's doing so well hitting at the plate. He's so valuable already as a hitter. Do you want to tax him by pitching him?
I mean, ultimately, it's his decision because if he wants to pitch, he should be able to. But I don't think he's going to be getting a ton of innings. I can see maybe later in his career him moving to the bullpen. and just being like a closer or something like that, I think that would be pretty awesome. He has the stuff to pitch in the late innings. He throws over 100 miles an hour, and he's got nasty, dirty sliders, and that's really all you need as a closer. But I do think you'll see him pitching again. I mean, he's been throwing bullpens for like over a month now, but I don't think it'll be this year. I know a lot of people are saying he might pitch in October. I don't see it.
No.
Well, at least not a start. I mean, I also don't see him risking that. I just don't see it. That'd be kind of cool to see him do it, come out of the pen and close a game or something. But I just don't see the risk reward being there.
And I understand they paid him, like they paid him to do both, but he's already paying himself off just by all the attention he brings to the Dodgers. All the merch sales, most likely.
Well, again, they paid him. They paid him like they bought a business, really.
I mean, I bet you he's paid for it already.
I want to give credit to it's either Tim Kirchin or Jeff Passan. He said that 80% of the Asian population that has flown into Los Angeles went to a Dodger game this year.
That's bananas.
That's even more bananas than his statistics.
Yeah. I mean, what more can we say about the guy? We've been ranting about it for quite a long time, but I mean, look, he's having an historic season. He's the best player in baseball. He might be one of the best players ever to touch a baseball, and it's something we need to talk about because we're huge baseball guys. And
Joe says as a result this year based off not pitching or being in the NL most of the year. I would say it's probably being in the NL. I'm going to go. Yeah, you know what? I'm taking that back. Not pitching. I'm going to say not pitching because when you're in the AL West and you have the Oakland A's and you can just tee off on them because they're actually putting it on a souffle for you. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go not pitching as well. I don't know. I say that, but like he's doing all the rehab stuff as a pitcher right now too, which is probably more than what he would be doing if he was even starting.
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. I think we brought this up a couple weeks ago, maybe too. And I think I said it was because he was not pitching, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, man, his rehab, like I know the rehab for all the UCL stuff, and it's probably more intensive than pitching and doing all your stuff in between starts. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because at the beginning of this season, all we were talking about was that his translator was gambling all of his money away. And now we're talking about how he's the best baseball player on the planet. It's awesome that he was able to put that aside. And, he lost his best friend at the beginning of the season. The guy completely betrayed him, stole all of his money, according to, all of the stuff that we've read. It's a credit to him that he was able to get through this. And maybe he's just having a fuck you season. I don't know.
And doing it in a major market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's a very quiet guy. I mean, we even talked about this back to the winter meetings where he didn't want anyone to really talk about how negotiations were going. Yeah. So, I mean, kudos to him, not only because he seems like a decent human being, but just doing it the way he's doing it is just awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my sources told me that he's a little bit of a dick about autographs, which I was kind of
really
surprised to hear. Like in terms of like signing for teammates and stuff like that. So he keeps track of guys he signs for and will only sign one item per guy on his team, which I thought was very, very interesting.
This is a good source. Okay.
Yeah.
I trust you. I know you know.
Who was it? Vince Scully?
You know a bunch of dudes in the show.
Yeah, it was Vince Scully.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting because I didn't label him as that. Like I didn't think he'd be like that. Because I got a text about it and I was like, I literally said that's nuts. I would never have thought that about that guy.
Yeah. Look, at least he's not telling his teammates to go fuck themselves. At least he's signing something.
Yeah.
And he's got
women
or,
like
he doesn't know anybody's shit.
No, and he's got a job. He's got a job to do too. So he's like, I can't sit here and just fucking sign all this shit. He's like, I got to go hit and pitch.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's basically all I have for baseball, unless you guys want to bring something up before we transition into NFL Week 3. And
I do want
talk
to say,
first.
Francisco Lindor, well done. You were kicking ass. I mean,
Yeah, he's the man.
If Shohei Ohtani wasn't having the season he's having, Lindor is just crushing the ball.
Yeah, he's single-handedly taken the Mets from a team that was hovering around 500 to a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
So good for him.
You think Buck Showalter's sitting in his living room like, where was this last year?
I don't know. I think I don't know what Buck Showalter does these days. Is he still on MLB Network or anything?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he appears from time to time.
Huh. All right. We're going to go into NFL Week 3 reactions, and we're going to talk about the Ravens right off the top. We got our first W yesterday, although it seemed like we really tried to give it away. Lamar and Derrick Henry were fantastic yesterday. Lamar's been fantastic all season. Derrick Henry was the big breakout of yesterday with 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Do we think this is a credit to the offensive line improving? Do we think it was a good game plan? Do we think Dallas's run defense is just pretty bad? Let's talk about the first half of this game before we talk about the negative part in the second half.
Well, to answer your question, I believe it is without a doubt the Dallas Cowboys' run defense is absolutely shot to hell. They ran the ball basically right at Michael Parsons.
I agree.
Michael Parsons is a great pass rusher. So if you run the ball, they always said like with J.J. Watt, while he was a phenomenal and a Hall of Fame player, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
If you ran the ball at him, it was phenomenal. Like you would get like major gains because he was so hell-bent on getting to the quarterback.
Yeah. I would agree. I mean, the whole lead up to this game, I feel like I was hearing everybody talk about like you basically have the worst run defense against one of the best run offenses historically. And then we also have like an air raid with Dallas going against our secondary, which hasn't played that great statistically this year. So that was everything I was hearing. So, I mean, it kind of lived up to what we thought in terms of, we were able to run the ball at will against them. Hopefully this is a testament that our offensive line's getting a little bit better and feeling a little bit more comfortable, but I don't think it was this was probably more towards Dallas not being a very good run defense, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna defer to you to Brooks and Dustin. I'm gonna defer to you guys a lot because I was working during the game, so I would just look up, and I really didn't get a chance to pay a lot of attention to like exactly the scheme, everything. I just saw Derrick Henry breaking runs. I heard cheers. That's all I had.
Yeah, I mean, Lamar only had to throw 15 times. He probably could have thrown less than that. The only throw he really needed to make was the one to Flowers to seal the game. I do want to praise the Ravens for game planning correctly, though. We've been on the coaching staff in the early part of the season, and really at the end of last year too with that Chiefs game. They stuck with what they were good at. They stuck with what made sense for the game. They ran the ball. Go ahead, Bri. And yeah, they were really good on offense. We can now talk about the second half and what happened in the fourth quarter because we keep getting outscored by huge margins in the fourth quarter of these games. Brooks, do you have any thoughts? We lost the fourth quarter 19-0 yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, is this a testament? Is our secondary that bad? I just don't. I don't understand why this keeps happening. And then it's like when we do get the ball, it's 3 and out in these situations, so they're getting the ball back pretty quickly. It's frustrating to watch. Like I don't know. I don't know if it's like our secondary is that bad, or if we're just. Or if it's our deep whatever we're doing defensively scheme wise that we're not.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're going to be fucking throwing the ball, right? I mean,
yeah.
So I don't know, man.
It's frustrating. Yeah, it's frustrating for sure. I do want to bring up. I don't like to complain about the refs. But I do want to bring up the roughing the passer call. The hit to the midsection. I don't know if I can't remember who it was. I think it was Away. But got a hit on Dak Prescott. Literally, as he released the football, he hit him directly in the hip, which he didn't go high. He didn't go low. He went straight in the middle. The only way you can tackle. He didn't hip drop him. He didn't force him to the ground, and they called roughing the passer. And that's the only reason that game got to the point it did, because that drive was over. That really was bullshit. I hate when they make calls like that. I know everyone gets frustrated. I know everyone at the bar I was watching the game at yesterday was just like, they can't even play football anymore. When you see stuff like that, it's really frustrating. But look, Lamar and Henry combined for 238 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Justice Hill had 6 yards of carry in his his nice little spell. Andrews didn't have to do anything. He only had 1 target, didn't have a catch. Lamar only had 12 completions, and the most catches by any single player was Bateman and Flowers. Both had 3. I mean, he spread the ball around, but it was just a very efficient offensive game plan. Unfortunate that it got so close at the end. What do we think about Justin Tucker missing that field goal? Do we think he's broken?
Not a great start to the season so far. Do I think he's broken? No. But yeah, I don't know what the deal is. Is he pulling everything left? I mean, that's kind of when everything started going downhill. He missed that field goal, and then it seemed like the wheels started falling off after that.
Yeah.
And then what Joe just said here about the local radio saying the Cowboys had a choke job, which is ridiculous. I would have to agree with Joe here. I mean, we almost gave them that freaking game.
I mean, they won the last quarter by 19 points.
God forbid we can get, I mean, God forbid we can get any first downs to extend the play clock at all. It seemed like it was just 3 and out, run the ball 3 times, which was fine. But I mean, we got to get a first down, and keep the clock moving, or else they just get the ball back. And
also,
obviously we're not getting any kind of stops in terms of the secondary. So
I know we had a big lead in the first half at this point, but there was an instance where we had a 4th and 1 or 3rd and 2, and then we got 1 yard and ended up being a 4th and 1 on like the 45-yard line. We ended up taking a penalty and punting. Number one, our punter sucks. So what are we doing? Because we're not going to win the field position battle with a shitty punter. Number 2, it's 4th and 1. We have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. We can't go for that on their 45-yard line. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
That's 550 pounds of man running right at you, and you can't get 1 yard.
And I literally was saying that during the game, Brian. I agree with both of you. Like, if you're not how can you not be confident enough that hey, 1 yard, we can fucking get a yard? Like, I mean, if anything, line Derrick Henry up and take a direct snap, and Ricard can push him behind him. Like, who's going to stop that shit? A yard with all these monsters that we have?
Or just give it to fucking Ricard. 300 pounds, downhill.
It's frustrating because, like I said, I think he pinned him at the 13, which is an all right punt. It was like a 35-yard punt. But I mean, if your punter is really, like, the stats back it up. Like, since you drafted him, he's been one of the bottom 10 punters in the league. So you're going to trust him over Lamar and Derrick Henry. Also, those 19 points don't matter in the fourth quarter if we're already winning by 30 fucking points. And that's why that's a really frustrating thing to me. I understand that we do go for it at a very high rate. So I just don't really know, like, what's the identity of the team? Our identity for the past 3 years or even more is that we're going to go for it on 4th down, especially when it's short yardage. And then
it was more telling that it was more telling that they just didn't have the confidence in them to go get a yard. That's kind of frustrating. And honestly, that's kind of scary.
We're so negative.
I know. I'm just about to say this.
We were very positive in the beginning, but we're talking, and then we moved on to the second half in the fourth quarter, and we were like, man, that was frustrating to watch.
Look, we can't lose fourth quarter 19-0. We just can't keep doing it.
I want to ask you guys a question because I heard about it today on the radio, and I didn't get a chance to see it in the game, as I explained earlier. apparently there was like a drive or maybe even two where like a lot of calls went against the Ravens. Like it was like the referees are kind of helping out the Cowboys. Is that factual? Is that just something that was made?
There was two pretty bad calls. One of them was the roughing a passer call that we already talked about. And then there was like a phantom flag later in the game. I can't exactly remember the situation. We started doing shots a little bit before that point of the game.
It's your moniker.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a little bit of a Sunday fundy yesterday.
Let's. I never feel comfortable with the Ravens having a double-digit lead, which is very scary to say. And I'm not trying to say negative. It's just factual. Like we've seen this, and we put up that graphic last week of all the double-digit leads we've won in the last like 2 or 3 years. Justin Tucker.
Yeah. Dustin said, "Is he broken?"
Yeah. So worst field goal percentage in the league among kickers who have attempted 3 or more field goals. So we're not including the guys who just stepped in for one game, but basically of all the starters, he's got the worst field goal percentage in the league at like 62%. A couple of those kicks, I think 3 of them or 2 or 3 of them that he's missed have been from 50 plus. The one he missed yesterday, I believe, was like 46 or 48 yards. So longer field goals, but just a guy that we're used to making everything. So it's really awkward. And also Brandon Aubrey, the kicker for the Cowboys, is the best kicker in the league now. Absolute fucking stud. Kicked one from 65 yesterday. He's 10 out of 10 on field goals this year, and 5 of them were 50 plus. So
he's an
that guy is fucking.
This screams. And we all golf, right? We talked about golf. We talked about golf a decent amount.
Yeah.
This is the yips. This has to be the yips. This is the Chuck Knobloch syndrome. It scares the living hell out of me because
he's still making the extra points.
Great. They're worth 1. I like the ones that are worth 3 more than I like the ones that are worth 1.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Not even that. Like, and it's not even that. Like when he misses these, we give up field position. So it's
a missed field goal is a turnover. And this is something that Mike Lombardi says all the time, former GM. A missed field goal is a turnover, and you need to treat it as such. Like if you miss a 50-yard field goal, they're getting the ball in very good field position. So you need to treat it like it's a turnover.
Yeah, it's scary. Hopefully it'll be adjusted. But we've seen the Chuck Knobloch syndrome. Can you fix the yips? Chuck couldn't. Rick Ankiel, and I'm using baseball references. Maybe apples to oranges on this.
John Lester couldn't throw to first base. Remember that?
Yeah,
he would roll the ball to first base.
He was literally like roll it over.
Yeah. Weird game, but look, we won. We got Buffalo next week. I believe it's a night game. And we're going to learn a little bit about Buffalo tonight, but we'll keep talking about our reactions from around the league before we talk about tonight.
So Joe actually said this, and I thought about this. I thought about this last year because he wasn't.
Can I ask Joe why he's got Red Bull? Does he work for Red Bull?
Yes.
Is that Red Bull?
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
All right.
At least it's not a koala.
So I always say, I know, right? Where's that guy at? I was thinking about this at the end of last year. Like, obviously Tucker was good last year and everything like that, but like, there's been his percentage of makes and especially from longer have been worse since
Sam Cook
retired. Is it that? I mean, certainly after a year, you should feel comfortable, right? Like I would think, okay, maybe this is the beginning of like trying to feel each other out, right? And now we've started this way this year, so I don't know.
I'm going to disagree with Joe on this one because Harbs is a special teams guy. When he was with the Eagles, he was all special teams.
You would think,
you would think he would understand this, unless he's just completely lost his way. Then punters are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, you can find them off the street. So he'd be able to find a new guy. Now, you probably don't want to make that change middle of the season. But I feel like Harbaugh, of any position, he would know that I call it the battery, just like in baseball. Between the long snapper, the holder, and the kicker.
It's weird. It's obviously not something we're privy to that information. We don't know if Justin Tucker is frustrating with the way that Stout holds the ball. I'm sure they're doing it, that Justin Tucker, as good as he is and as effective as he's been in his career, is doing everything he can to try to fix whatever's going on with him right now. But it's a little scary because that's something we've been leaning on for the last 10 years or so, maybe even more, is him being one of the best kickers in the league, and he's really a weapon for us. So
I remember McAfee saying, like, when he first came into the league and basically had no idea how to hold because he's never done it before. Like Vinatieri sent him down to a holding academy basically in Carolina to like his old punter from New England. And was like, you're going to learn how to fucking hold, because if you can't, it's going to affect me. So,
yeah.
You put that on your job resume, holding academy attendant or holding academy instructor.
Maybe.
Very.
Zach can go very many ways.
It was whoever his punter and special teams coach, or at least whoever his punter was in New England, I think, is who like put him through the rounds and like, here's how you fucking hold for Vinatieri.
It's pretty. I mean, it's a crazy thing.
It's kind of smart,
but yeah, I mean, it would be awesome if Jordan Stout could go down there. Maybe he could learn how to punt too. But yeah,
you are just beating this guy like a drum.
I don't like him at all. He sucks. I think he's terrible.
He's also a Penn State guy.
He's a Penn State guy too. So yeah,
feeling towards Penn State.
I've got automatic hatred towards him.
I picked up on it.
Besides Michael Parsons and Saquon Barkley, I hate every Penn State player and friend, fan, and Chris Merrick. Love you, buddy. Anyway, in the division. We'll keep moving on here. We'll move on from the Ravens game. Steelers improved to 3-0, another dominant defensive performance. I believe the Steelers defense has only given up 16 points in 3 games. They won 20-10. Huh?
Only one touchdown, right?
Yeah. 1 touchdown, 3 field goals. They won 20-10 over the Chargers. Herbert left in the middle of this game sometime. Apparently he re-injured his ankle. He got rolled up on a little bit. It seemed like he was walking around. I think he probably could have gone back in if they needed him to, but it was it didn't really make sense given the situation to risk his season any further. Do we think the Steelers defense is legit? I certainly do.
I do. I think I'm going to go to the Chargers real fast. I'm going to come back to the Steelers.
Okay.
I think this is a lingering injury that's going to last the entire duration of the season. It was lasting during the preseason. They're still putting him out there. Understandable. I think this is going to be the doom of the Chargers. And I think the Chargers are actually a decent team with the new mentality that Harbaugh brings. The Steelers defense is legit.
Yeah. Also, I want to mention that the Chargers defense lost Joey Bosa yesterday, who's constantly hurt, but he left and did not return to the game yesterday. So it's another big blow for him.
That guy should be sponsored by Red Cross. I mean, there's no doubt he is consistently hurt.
What did he hurt?
That I don't remember, but I can look it up.
I think it was a hip. I think it was like a hip contusion or hip something or hip flexor.
That's not good.
I don't know.
It was a hip injury. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe his nipple ring fell out.
It was the first play of the game too. So
that's not good for a guy. That's not good for a guy who needs to like bend around corners to get to quarterbacks. I mean,
yeah, you got to get low.
Yeah.
Those Bosa's, dude, they're talented, but they can't stay on the field, man.
I mean, Nick Bosa sat out his entire last season at Ohio State because of like the ab issue.
Yeah.
I
think he missed the game today too, or he was questionable and he played. I don't know. We'll talk about that team in a little bit. Actually, we can talk about that game right now. San Fran was in control of this game for the most part the whole game. The Rams' offensive line is in shambles. I think they're playing 3 backups on the offensive line. They've got no Kupp, no Puka, and for whatever reason, they're just able to run the ball against this vaunted San Francisco defense, a defense that's been very good. San Fran is injured to shit. McCaffrey's still out. Debo didn't play. George Kittle had an injury in practice this week. He missed the game. Their like 4th wide receiver option, Jawan Jennings, really stepped up, had 45 freaking fantasy points yesterday, 11 for 175 and 3 touchdowns. I think he's going to get picked up in every fantasy league tomorrow. But yeah, what happened? This the Rams outscored them 13-3 in the end, and Stafford, I guess, drove down the field and was able to put them away. Did you guys watch the end of this game?
No,
vaguely. I mean,
I didn't.
Yeah,
I was kind of focused on the
the Ravens at that point.
the Ravens game, because I mean I was shitting my pants thinking we were going to blow that. But I mean we were at the bar, so it was on one of the other TVs, so I glanced at it and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
How is this happening right now? But I mean, like you said, San Fran had half their lineup not playing.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you said, Puka and Cup are both out and probably going to be out. They haven't put Cup on the IR yet.
No, okay. So I've found out why, and it's because apparently you're only allowed 8 or 9 players to go on IR and return in the season. And they already have 8 guys on IR, and 7 of them are slotted to return. So if they put Cooper Kupp on IR and then he comes back, he would be the last guy, and they would have no availability to do that later in the year. So they're going to have to keep him active, even though he's supposed to miss like 3 or 4. Yeah, dude. They lost so many offensive linemen. How did they win this game?
Hey, why don't we go to 18 games? I think it's going to be absolutely stupendous.
Yeah, it's great.
I was looking. So, I mean, the amount of injuries already this year is kind of nuts already.
Yeah.
That I didn't know that about the IR stuff.
I found out yesterday. I didn't know that at all.
Which kind of kills me because I've been waiting on him to go to the IR so I can put him down in my IR slot to pick somebody else up. And I'm like, what the fuck? They still haven't put him on there yet?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was looking just through, first of all the injuries and all the big name injuries to start the season. And then I'm looking at like all of the fantasy football league scores right now. Like I just looked down the list. I'm like, man, everybody's having a shitty week this week. It's because everybody's fucking hurt.
Yeah.
So.
Also, offense is just down across the board. So fantasy is no good. Dude, Brian, I'm beating you with no tight end this week. Your team stinks.
That's fine, but my other leagues, I'm crushing. I am just
good for you.
He
wasn't the air raid in our league. He's got 60.
He's got the air raid.
For those of you who don't understand that reference, Brian was auto drafting, and they auto drafted him like 6 straight receivers. He didn't get a running back till like the 8th round.
Great.
I'm in Ryan Ripken's league with Joe Radke. That we've had his comments on the screen here a couple of times today, and he picked Cam Little from Arkansas. He's a huge Arkansas fan, with his number 1 overall pick.
Well
I've never even heard of that guy. I've never even heard of Cam Little.
I think he's a first-year guy for Jacksonville, I think.
Yeah.
That's great.
Anyway, we'll move on from this. The bad teams won. The 2 terrible teams in the NFL, the Giants and the Panthers, both won their games today. Andy Dalton had 300-plus passing yards, 3 touchdowns for the Panthers, and they dominated the Raiders. They were winning the whole game. This comes obviously after Bryce Young gets benched. We found that out last week, I believe, on our podcast. That was breaking news while we were doing our podcast. I had this written down. Do we think this is the worst trade of all time, or do we still giving Herschel Walker and Ricky Williams those the credit for those?
It's in that realm.
Yeah,
I think the RG3 one is also up there.
The Russell Wilson one is up there with the Broncos. I think the who am I missing? The Deshaun Watson trade. I mean, we'll talk about them too. That they lost to the Giants today. God, that team stinks.
All right, so the easiest bet of the week was the Panthers to win. I'm sorry, I know the Panthers stink, but anytime a team changes their quarterback like this, the team wins. Now they will absolutely lose next week.
I don't know if they'll win another game.
Yeah, it's always whenever they change a quarterback or a head coach gets fired.
Yeah. I mean, the Panthers are terrible, but they beat the Raiders, who beat the Ravens last week. The Ravens looked great this week for the most part in the first half until they didn't. Do we think there's a dominant team in the NFL right now? Do we think, obviously, we'll put the Chiefs aside because the Chiefs are 3-0 and they're defending 2-time Super Bowl champions. We'll put them in another category. Do we think there's another team in the NFL that's built to dominate, or we think it's kind of going to be a wide open league this year?
It's going to be a wide open league. I'm not even putting the Chiefs in a different realm. I think they got holes too.
Yeah, I was going to say, I agree.
They could have lost all 3 of those games they've won. They could have lost all 3 of them.
Their best player, I honestly don't believe. Now, look, this is going to sound like blasphemy. I think their best player is Chris Jones.
Oh yeah.
At that position, he is so dominant.
Yeah.
Like you could put Josh Allen on the Chiefs, and the Chiefs are still going to win. You take Chris Jones off that defense, they're going to have a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Their defense is built around him being dominant, and he is very dominant. I mean, he stuffed Bijan back for three yards negative in that 4th and 1 play at the end of the game. I didn't get to watch that game. I was probably incoherent by that time, so I watched the 15-minute YouTube highlights this morning. And also, I don't like watching the Chiefs. I just don't. I don't like Mahomes. I don't like watching them play. So I try to avoid them. Did you see that Arthur Blank created a Ring of Honor and put himself in at halftime yesterday?
That's amazing. That is so amazing. That is a Jerry Jones move.
Yeah, I saw that. Somebody, I forget where I saw that. It might have been on a talk show, like in the morning, saying like Arthur Blank's going into the Ring of Honor today as the first member as he started. I'm like, wow, wait,
That's incredible.
The inaugural member.
Oh my god! Like that. What a like you can't like have
they
some.
They live in
La La Land.
They live in a different world than we do, man.
I want to bring up. I want to move on to Indy and Chicago if we can. I might have to bring back my Matt Eberflus might get fired first.
They're bad. Dude, Caleb Williams looks terrible.
He looks
terrible.
They have no O-line, and they upgraded their offensive line from last year. That tells you how bad they were last year.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, I mean, he had no chance. Caleb Williams right now has no chance.
Yeah. I mean, Anthony Richardson didn't play well either. Like, you texted multiple times yesterday saying, what the hell is he doing? He made that throw in the end zone. That was so bad.
I know.
That pick that he threw in the end zone, that was unbelievable.
I said it to Kirsten. I said, this guy is a globetrotter. He makes like 3 to 4 amazing plays. I don't even know if Globetrotters are. He makes 3 or 4 amazing plays and then just has 16 terrible ones. But hey, he can do standing backflips, so that's freaking awesome. Great.
He's like a late career
out of football.
He's like a late career Russell Westbrook. Like he still can put up triple doubles, but you're like saying, please don't do this. Please don't do this half the time. Please don't shoot.
And like you said, Indy tried to give them the game, and they had it 4th and 1. I think 4th and 1 at like, I don't know, the 2-yard line or something like that to get whatever it was. They were right down there at the goal line that they couldn't stuff it in.
Yeah.
And like Brian said, like that tells you a lot about how bad it was last year there and Justin Fields. That's why I know we just talked about it, but like with the Bryce Young stuff and that trade, it's like I can't I almost feel like Bryce Young needs to go somewhere else, and then we'll realize if he's good or not.
I don't think there's a future for him in Carolina after being benched like that.
No.
Look,
I don't want to beat a man when he's down, but he is tiny. He looks tiny. He's not like Russell Wilson is small, but he's stocky. Like he's built just like Drew Brees is kind of a built guy. Bryce Young looks frail compared to the other people that are out there trying to beat the hell out of him, getting paid to beat the hell out of him.
Russell Wilson in his prime was so good at getting out of the pocket and making throws down the field and making stuff happen down the field. I don't see it out of Bryce Young. Even Kyler, he's able to escape the pocket. He's so quick when he gets out into space. And he's a pretty accurate guy with a big arm. I still see it with Kyler. I don't see it with Young. I just don't.
Yeah. Even with Lamar, Lamar is not the biggest of people, but he's elusive, just like we were talking about with the other guys. And I actually remember this it might have been 2 seasons ago, maybe 3 seasons ago, where they ran that Heisman package, where they had Mark Ingram, RG3, and Lamar. And I remember watching and going, holy shit, RG3 looks like he is a hulking human being next to Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
RG3 definitely wasn't as athletic as he used to be by that point in his career.
No, but like you said, I haven't seen it yet either. But I mean, I'm weary to write him off quite yet because I mean we just saw Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield leave and actually get on decent teams and play well. So this guy's kind of been in a dumpster fire since he's come out of college. But I mean that's what you get when you're the number 1 overall pick, usually. Whereas I think that Caleb Williams went into a decent situation and is still not playing very well. So
No.
Pose a question to you guys. Would this be a great ploy for the Jets to give up a 3rd-round pick, bring him in, let him just marinate behind Aaron Rodgers for a year or two?
For Bryce
I
Young?
don't hate that at all. I think that's great. I mean, they have Aaron Rodgers and Tyrod, who are two very capable core. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is a better player, but Tyrod, very capable guy and been in the league a long time. I think he would be a good mentor as well.
And Rodgers already in I can't remember. It might have been Hard Knocks. Met why am I blanking on his name all of a sudden? Bryce Young, and he said he's a very, very likable human being. So if you bring him in, unlike the Jordan Love situation with Aaron Rodgers, you bring him in knowing, okay, Aaron, when you leave, this guy's going to take over. We're not pushing you out. We're bringing him in to allow you to mentor him.
Yeah, and he just did it with Jordan Love too. I mean, call it mentoring, or call it like the guy just needs to get there and just attach himself at the hip to Rodgers. Because I'm same thing as Flacco. I don't think it's his job to sit there and make sure that he's learning the film and all this different stuff. But like that guy needs to attach his hip to Rodgers or whoever he goes behind and try to learn how to be a pro. Because I mean, he just doesn't know. I mean, he's in like I said, a dumpster fire, and nobody's been there to show him. Maybe Andy Dalton is probably the best one to show him so far. I mean, and he's only been there a couple weeks. So
Andy Dalton's 2 starts with the Carolina Panthers, third for 300 yards. Hello.
Yeah. Good for Andy Dalton.
The Red Rifle's still doing it.
Still doing it, man. TCU.
Slinging it from TCU, baby.
Yeah.
Next game I want to talk about, the Vikings are 3-0. They kicked the shit out of Houston yesterday.
They kicked
the shit out of them. They dominated this game. Aaron Jones looked great.
Doesn't see ghosts anymore. There's no more ghosts in Sam Darnold's world.
Aaron Jones looked great.
Good for him.
Darnold looked great. Justin Jefferson all over the place. That guy is insane. And the Vikings defense, who I think most people were pretty down on, has been very, very good. I think I have it written down. Houston only ran for 38 yards yesterday. Now I know they had their backup in. Joe Mixon didn't play and Cam Akers started, but I mean, 38 rushing yards, that's bad.
I just picked them up in a bunch of fantasy leagues. I think they're number 1 or number 2 in everything in every league right now in terms of scoring wise for
fantasy
for fantasy defenses. But yeah, and I think we all said this when we were going through our preview. We all said that we think that we're going to see a very different Sam Darnold this year because he's literally sat there in Kyle Shanahan's offense last year and got to learn, and then went here with Kevin McConnell with KOC. And we all know the guy can draw up with the best of them. They have a great offensive line. They have a good run game. So, I mean, it was just a perfect storm. So we knew we were going to see the best Sam Darnold that we've seen. I didn't think it was going to be this good.
No, definitely didn't think it was going to be this good. And I just want to tout the defense one more time. Also, want to tout the defensive coordinator, Brian Flores. He's doing an excellent job. He did a lot with not very much last year, and it seems like he's doing it again. They lost their best pass rusher in Danielle Hunter. He went to Houston. So this was like a revenge game for him. And they're going out there and they're stuffing the run and they're doing a great job. CJ Stroud threw a couple picks. It was probably one of the worst games I've seen him play. Still obviously super talented dude, but the Vikings are good.
It may be a blessing in disguise for JJ McCarthy to sit there and learn the whole offense for a year. I mean, he just gets there to open his playbook and watch.
He's super young too.
Still, I mean, towards ACL, obviously nobody ever wants to do that, but maybe a blessing in disguise here. I mean, man, Vikings look good and look good for the future.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I think Sam Darnold's going to be the free agent prize this offseason. Depending on what happens with Tua, maybe he'll end up in Miami. I don't want to speculate on that, obviously.
Having
And, a question was posed today on Dan Patrick's show while I was watching. With Skylar Thompson getting hurt for the Dolphins, did they reach out to Pittsburgh about Russell Wilson?
I think I've heard people say that they've put in feelers for Stafford. I wouldn't be surprised with Russell Wilson. I would imagine that they are. I mean, they brought in Tyler Huntley off they signed him off our practice squad. I would assume he's reaching out to everybody to see what they need to do to get what people are asking for, if anybody's available. I would be. I mean, you should be at least.
Yeah, if you're doing your job is to make those phone calls, and depending on how they go is going to depend on the other organizations. I don't think there's any way that the Steelers would move Russell Wilson because they're paying him no money. Mm-hmm. And if Justin Fields has a history, and Justin Fields has a history of injuries, so if he gets hurt, you have another guy to step in there. So I don't see from Pittsburgh's side, I think the offer would have to be outstanding, and I don't think that the Dolphins are going to mortgage their future that much just for this season. But it sucks for Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's just sitting out there, the biggest wasted weapon in the league, and Waddle too. I mean, and A-Chain. I mean, they have a ton of offensive talent. It's going to be terrible. Tim Boyle is so bad. I can't believe he's still on an NFL roster.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think Tyler Huntley is going to be the starter there. I don't know how bad the Skylar injury is. I didn't hear anything about it or anything.
It's his chest, but I don't know what the severity is either.
That's usually a big one. I don't know about you, but I think your heart is in your chest. That's pretty big.
Well, and also, I mean, I don't think we actually brought this up. Going back to the Chiefs, Hollywood's out for the season.
He's out for the season?
Yep.
What?
When? Since when? What are you getting this information off? An Etch-a-Sketch?
I think I saw that last week.
Oh man, now you got us all staring at our fucking phones.
I'll double check. I'll double check now, but I mean, I guess
okay. It says we'll miss the majority of the regular season. It's going to likely take him over 3 months to get back. Wow,
what did he hurt?
It was like a collarbone or something, wasn't it?
It was something where like his collarbone meets his chest. It was a weird name. Yeah, I think you had it too.
And I got to bring this up. I'm sorry. I'm going to skew away from what we're talking about. So obviously we gave kudos to Cabbage and Haley for getting engaged last week. It was fucking phenomenal. Great time. Then Cabbage goes out, plays softball, breaks his collarbone.
I forgot.
And Drew's been trying to call me to get onto his foursome for the St. Gerard's tournament with Dustin and Greg, which I'm trying to make happen. But we'll see if
that'd be awesome. That tournament's really, really fun.
Cabbage gets engaged and immediately starts breaking bones. I'm like, man, this is a recipe, man.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm the Dolphins, I'm reaching out to everyone. Like you said, I think Tannehill's in the mix. He's still unsigned. I think
Tyler Huntley's going to be the starter this week, I would imagine.
Joe Flacco is still available.
No, if I'm in Indianapolis, I am not. Yeah, I know. If I'm in Indianapolis, I'm not giving him up for anything.
I would definitely need a good.
Not the way Anthony Richardson plays. Anthony Richardson plays like Andrew Luck, and I hate to use this is an apples to apples comparison because it's the same team, but he runs into contact, and that is so freaking stupid. You're more important than you realize. Just go the hell down.
Yeah. We'll venture off of this. The Dolphins, obviously, they took a beating with their third string quarterback. They lost to Seattle. Seattle, by the way, who I picked to win that division, is 3-0. Everyone else in that division is 1-2. So those Mike McDonald future for Coach of the Year, that's looking pretty good. That Byron Murphy bet's looking pretty good. And Geno's been slinging it, so good for Geno. DK went crazy yesterday. I think he had like an 80-yard touchdown or something.
Byron Murphy is scary. He's
good.
It might be the new Chris Jones. That guy is just an animal with his hands. His hand contact. I actually watched some of the game that he played last week, and he is just hand battling and just dominating whoever the heck he's going against.
Yeah. Philly and New Orleans was kind of the 1 o'clock marquee matchup. With New Orleans being so good and Philly, we're not sure after that weird loss last week when Barkley dropped the ball. New Orleans was winning this game for the most part. The whole game, it was like 12-7 for a really long time, and then Philly took the lead late. Saquon Barkley is sick.
He's fast.
And
he has good thighs.
Yeah, and he went to Penn State, so he sucks. But but he looks amazing. He's the best weapon on their offense, especially considering AJ Brown just missed his second game, and Devontae Smith got completely destroyed yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw that. Yeah, he got smacked by 3 sides. On 3 sides, he got smushed.
He's not a big dude.
No, very small. His nickname is the Slim Reaper. So
I thought that was Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but they call him that too. Anyway,
you got to get your own nickname.
I think I saw that AJ Brown is expected to come back next week, but I could be wrong there.
Jalen Hurts continues to disappoint in fantasy. I only have him on one team, thank God, but he has been pretty bad after having probably one of the best fantasy quarterback seasons last year in a while.
Guess who has 2 thumbs and picked up Derek Carr this week because he was the number 1 quarterback.
You only have 1 thumb, so not you.
And he got me a whopping 7 points. But
yeah, he didn't do shit. I don't know if the New Orleans thing is real. I think they played well against Philly. I mean, I think Philly's a pretty good team. I don't think Philly is well coached. I think that's going to come back to bite them in the playoffs. But
they are a fire waiting to just burst. They are the beginning of a forest fire. See the Jalen Carter incident on the sideline.
Yeah, what's going on?
Know about it?
What happened?
It seems like a bunch of recluses. It seems like one of those high school teams that they just didn't give a shit what the hell you did. You just go out and do whatever the fuck, drink and speed, and like Georgia speeding. Like they just absolutely have no sense of awareness of what they're doing. I mean, Jalen Carter looked like a madman on the sideline who would eat children.
Yeah, he went crazy on the sideline. If you guys didn't see, if you should watch the video. It was like around the 2-minute warning, and Jalen Carter just went crazy, and he was bullshitting back and forth with Tyrann Mathieu, and then Sirianni and a bunch of coaches were trying to pull Carter like off the field because he was talking so much shit. It was really bizarre situation.
He's doing like
just doesn't seem like
it
just doesn't seem like Sirianni's got a very good hold on the team as a coach, and
It goes back to a comment that I made like maybe 2 or 3 pods ago. It's if your best coach is Big Dom, who's a security guy, that's not good because he's not a coach.
Yeah,
it seems like he's like the linchpin of the team. And the man wears an Italian flag on the side of his Eagles hat.
He also gave Jason Kelce an Italian green jumpsuit on Monday Night Football last week. If you saw that.
And never trust a head coach that wears a short sleeve hoodie, because if you need a hoodie, it should be a long sleeve one. Someone has to explain that.
Won 6 Super Bowls wearing short sleeve hoodies.
Well, that's because he cut them off. He cut the sleeves off because he just tried to make a fashion statement. And
I don't think that man's trying to make any kind of fashion statement. I don't think he gives a shit about that.
Jason Kelce, did you see
comfortable, and that's it.
Did you see Jason Kelce at like the pre-game concert for Monday Night Football?
His dance move?
He chest bumps a dude who has no shirt on, all tatted up, and the guy he chest bumped landed and tore his ACL.
Oh, I didn't hear that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And Kelce he didn't see it, so he chest bumps and then just turns around to get off the stage, while the other guy is actually physically like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can pull that up as well.
Yeah. While he's looking for
that and like his dance moves were incredible.
Awesome.
While he's looking for that, we'll just go through the rest of the games, and you guys let me know. Stop me if you want to talk about anything in particular. Hollywood Brown out for the season, as you can see on our screen right now. The Broncos beat the Bucks. The Bucks looked like they were going to be one of the better teams in that division. They came out and got smoked by Bo Nix and the Broncos. I think that was a weird game. I don't know if it was a fluke or what. I still don't think Bo Nix is very good. Green Bay wins their second start with Malik Willis over Tennessee. Tennessee's offense is a complete joke. Will Levis is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen play football. He's just so bad. I mean, watch the games. He's making some of the worst terrible
there it is.
throws.
That's the one right there. Oh my goodness. And
Well, it says we're not seeing anything, Brooks.
All right, hold on.
Will Levis is terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. If you guys are watching,
it's the second one down. It's the second one down, bros. The second video down.
It's this
You
one.
guys-
No, it's that one. There you go. Play that one.
if you
guy
guys
has
are
no
watching
shirt on.
live, we got a video of Jason Kelsey tearing a man's
Oh, look at it,
ACL.
he's just Limping away. What a moron. His dance moves during this thing were incredible too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jason Kelsey's the man. He could have gone in the hot guy draft last week.
yeah.
Anyway, other than that, Detroit won and they covered in Arizona. I bet on that. So good teams win, great teams cover. Thank you, Detroit. They also ran a hook and ladder in the middle of this game for a touchdown. It was sick.
Beautiful.
First time I've seen that in a while. And also Aaron Rodgers
I didn't see
looking a
I
little
remember-
vintage Aaron Rodgers-y last Thursday night, if you guys were able to watch that game.
Mhm.
Brian, I know you're not a huge Rodgers guy. Brooks obviously is. I'm a big fan of his football field stuff. Pats look bad though. The Pats look
I'm
pretty
gonna-
bad.
I'll give credit where credit is due. I mean, he looked good. He looked very good on Thursday night.
Yeah.
It was fun to watch. I mean, it kind of looked like he was. I mean, balls coming out quick. Still has a ton of velocity. I mean, I love watching him throw the football. I
His
absolutely
arm
love it.
talent is so great. And Patrick Mahomes
So-
has the same arm talent. And I'm not talking about him throwing left-handed, but his arm talent where he can throw sidearm here, three-quarter.
It just
It's
looks like
phenomenal.
it just looks like he just goes like this, and the ball just he's just flicking his wrist, man. He's so good at that, and he's always been. He was throwing off his back foot, the one he made to the sideline by the pylon to I think it was
that
Garrett
touchdown
Wilson.
pass.
That was unbelievable. He stepped off his back foot and just fucking slung that thing in there right past the corner.
Somebody analyzed that throw, and I forget who it was, and they were like, 9 out of 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, this is a pick six. Because
Yeah.
but Rodgers is different.
And
Um,
I remember Kurt Warner saying, if you someone asked him, could you teach Aaron Rodgers, teach someone how to be Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback? And he says that would be the worst thing to do to a young person because you cannot teach him at all.
Yeah.
What he does makes no sense whatsoever. But
He's
he
an
does it,
enigma.
he gets it done.
Yeah. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I don't have too much to say about the Detroit game. I didn't really watch much of it, but like I said, they won and covered. The Broncos Bucks is it was a weird game. I don't necessarily know if it tells me a lot about either team. But yeah, I mean, Will Levis, we're gonna do my that's a shame right now. Will Levis, you're my that's a shame. I mean, just making some of the absolute most boneheaded plays, the Carson Wentziest, the worst plays. And just watch the highlights of the game if you don't believe me. DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley, I feel terrible for you guys because you're studs, and this guy is just so bad.
Did you just say the Carson Wentziest?
Yes, I did.
Brooks, go ahead with your that's a shame.
Carson Wentz superlative day.
I don't have one lined up yet. Let me
All
let me
right,
think.
I got mine. All right. As I said, I went to a wedding this past weekend for Sam and Shane Martin, and it was beautiful, and it was absolutely amazing. But my that's a shame is unfortunately the best man speech. Let's just say it dragged on a little bit long. I'm not going to get into too many details, but to the point that someone had to come up and grab the microphone away from the gentleman giving the best man speech.
Was
So
he
that's
drunk?
that's a shame. Let's just say he wasn't sober.
Oh,
all
okay.
right?
Just rambling. Just rambling on.
Ramble. Let's get ready to ramble. I mean,
Yeah.
let's go, dude. He was just killing. He's bringing up thongs and from other women. And I'm like, and my back was turned to the bridal party. Thank God. Kirsten, the way she was sitting at our circular table, could see the bridal party. She goes, "You have to see the bridal party." I go, "I'm not turning around."
Yeah.
I can't.
Oh man. Yeah, advice to anybody who's going to give a best man speech. Just especially if you're drunk, just talk for 30 seconds and get out of there. Nobody
Get
wants
in
to hear-
and get out. Get
Yeah.
in and get out. That's it.
All right, my
But a
that's
great
Shane.
wedding, and I'm very happy for Sam and Shane. Very happy.
Oh man, I guess I kind of wanted to go with the cabbage collarbone, but we've already brought that up.
Yeah.
My that's a shame this week is Stavi baby throwing out the first pitch and one hopping it. Got to be better. Got to be
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, what a disaster, dude. Come on. You can't throw a ball. You can't throw the ball 60 feet.
Love it. I mean, really, it was. I didn't see where. I don't remember where he threw it from, but I mean, he's probably not all the way up on the mound, so it's probably more like 50, 55 feet. Come on now.
Yeah.
I'd rather you see hit the bull.
Yeah. I think at this
What's
point
that
we can
noise?
do. I don't know what the noise is. I'm hearing something too.
There's a helicopter right above my house.
Okay.
You want me to
Yeah.
turn my mic?
Nah.
Yeah. Throw yourself on mute just for a minute. Now we're gonna get into a little
Also,
preview
are you
for
okay?
the Monday night.
Is there some? Are they looking for somebody there? You sure? They're not coming. Somebody's gonna
Not
break into
coming
your
for
house.
me. Tell you that much.
I'm just saying. Make sure everything's okay. Somebody might be trying to get into a house right
Well,
now.
I have a helicopter above our house. I can hear it, and then also the house directly next to me, going through this wall, they completely bulldozed it and are reconstructing. So
Wow.
I got all kinds of shit going on around here.
Lot of shit going on. This is life in the city.
Life in the jungle down there.
Preview for Monday Night Football. Like I said earlier, we have 2 games tonight. Jacksonville is 0-2. They're playing at Buffalo. Buffalo is favored by 5.5 tonight. The over-under is 45.5. Jags, desperate for a win. Can't start 0-3. I think I read the stats last week. It's been 1 out of the last 103 teams to start 0-3 have made the playoffs, and that's since 2002. What do we think about this game? We think the Jags come out and get the win because they're so desperately need it, or do we think Buffalo is going to stay hot and improve to 3-0?
This line is fishy, really, really fishy. I thought it'd be higher. I guess they want everybody to take Buffalo. So I mean, if I were a betting man, I'd be throwing money on the Jags, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
What's the weather like? Why is the over and under so low?
I don't think that's very
Hey,
low.
boys,
I think
can-
it's just,
I took the microphone off. Can you still hear the noise in the background with this other mic?
no, I can't hear it at all. They're all
Okay,
good.
good. Do I sound okay? I'm changing mics. That way I don't get the interference.
Yeah, you sound fine.
Yeah,
All right,
you'll be
cool.
fine.
All right.
You'll make it through.
Yeah, I think I don't think it's very low. I just think the offense in general has been down across the board this year. So I think that's probably why Jacksonville struggled to score last week against Cleveland, who just got beaten by the Giants. So that could be another reason. I don't know. I didn't really know what to expect from Buffalo this year after losing so many guys like we discussed on their defense, especially in their secondary. I don't really know how they're performing so well on defense. I think it's just a credit to Sean McDermott and the defensive coordinator, whoever that is. I don't remember who the defensive coordinator for Buffalo is. But I also think the line at 5.5 is kind of reflective of what I just said, though. The Jags desperate for a win because that 0-3 start is really the nail in the coffin for your playoff chances. So I think the line will reflect that. And I think that's why Buffalo is not favored by more than a touchdown here.
All right,
I think
so
my favorite bet for this game is Brian Thomas to score a touchdown. Like I said, Buffalo's secondary is spotty. And Brian Thomas is been an awesome rookie to watch. I think he'll get into the end zone tonight, and that's plus 270. So you can throw that in any kind of parlay, and I like that. I like that a lot.
I like that a lot.
Yep.
You're on mute, right, Brian?
Yeah, that's not a bad bet at all. That's something I'm probably going to take after you gave me that information.
Yeah.
So I want to start. I want to start with this. for I guess from now to the end of the year and like have us start picking these games in terms of against the spread and keeping track of it for the year.
Sure.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, keep a little tally, see who wins at the end of the year.
So I think
Do a pot of the face to the loser.
Yeah, or whatever the choosing is. But what does anybody else have anything on this game before we make our picks on it, or do you want to go over the Cincy Washington game before? No, let's do our pick after we actually talked about it.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else? I mean, I was going to say that I thought Buffalo was probably playing the best out of anybody in the NFL at the moment. Just because, like Brian said, I don't think the Chiefs could. I mean, the Chiefs could have lost any of those games.
Yeah.
And they haven't really wowed me, but they do the Chiefs stuff. Like they keep coming away with a W no matter how good or bad it looks. I feel like Buffalo has looked the best. That's why I think this line is super fishy. So
now I got to look at this. This helicopter seems like it's about to land on my roof.
I like Jacksonville. I'm going to take Jacksonville plus the points probably. I might buy it up to 7 and see what the odds are on it. I think they're going to be able to move the ball on Buffalo. And once again, I think they're desperate for a win, and I think I think they need this game a lot more than Buffalo does, and I think that matters.
So for our show, we're not buying any points. Are you still taking Jacksonville?
Oh yeah, I'm going to take Jacksonville. If I do gamble on it, I do. I probably will buy some points. But I might also sprinkle Jags money line. I think they can win this game outright.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep the tally in the notes section?
Yeah. I'll keep it.
All right. I'm also I just gave all my reasoning there about this line and everything like that. So I'm also going to take the Jags with the points. I could easily see Buffalo winning this game by 2 touchdowns. But I just think that line's too fishy to not go with the Jags here because everybody and their mom has got to be taking Buffalo with this line.
Yeah.
So give me Vegas, and Vegas is killing it right now this season. So
yeah,
dogs are killing it this season in general too.
Yeah, the dogs are barking this season, which we love to see. Some bad teams winning games, and I love betting on bad teams. I do it all the time. So we'll wait for Rodgers to get back for him to give us his pick, and we'll start talking about Washington and Cincy. Washington,
somebody break into his house with a machine gun or something.
Yeah, we're going to see a Scarface scene coming up here soon. Washington.
I'm not getting arrested. It seems like there's a car accident down the street. Pretty good one.
Okay. All right. Justin and I are both on the Jags with the points. Who are you going with here in this?
I'm going nuts. I'm in lockstep with you guys, Jags.
All right, we're all in. That's a team play, and that means it's almost certainly going to lose. Drew, could you please bet on the Bills if you were watching? Because that would be a good way for us to win this bet. Drew is unfortunately not a very good gambler, and we give him a lot of flack.
This seems like a sucker bet for Drew to take. This seems like a Drew.
This seems like a Drew teaser. Buffalo across the 0, and he's going to cheese it with the over somehow. Yeah. I know that's the bet. That's got Drew written all over it. Washington 1-1 at Cincinnati, who's 0-2. Same thing. Cincinnati desperately needs a win to avoid an 0-3 start. I don't think Washington's defense is good at all. I think Washington's defense is very bad. T. Higgins is coming back and playing for Cincinnati tonight. I think that will make a difference. I don't love Cincy this year in general, but I do like them to win this game pretty handily. I think they'll probably blow the shit out of Washington. And Jaden Daniels just really hasn't been very efficient as a passer yet this year. We've seen some flashes from him. I kind of like Cincy and the under here. Where are you guys leaning?
Eminem gets a win. I'm taking Cincy and the over.
Wow. Okay.
There
you go.
For show purposes, we're only doing.
We're gonna pick a spread,
but yeah, we'll also do that. I like Cincy as well. That's also not good. I do think this is the get back game.
This is bad news. We're all in lockstep today. I don't like it.
This is terrible. I mean, Washington's going to win by 22 points.
Yeah, I mean, I would
Or
love to
they're
see
gonna
Washington
cover-
win. I'm definitely going to be rooting for Washington to win. I might not actually bet this very heavy, just specifically because I want Washington to win this game.
Or they're going to cover it. They're going to cover at garbage time. Is what's going to happen.
Yeah, a little backdoor cover from Washington. Yeah, I do want to point out a trend that's happened in the first couple of weeks with Washington's defense. In week one, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both went off. They had Mike Evans had one of the better games of his career, quite frankly, and Baker Mayfield too. And then last week, Malik Neighbors completely torched Washington's defense. So look for Chase and or Higgins to go crazy in this game. Washington's D is not good, especially against top flight receivers.
Over under 2 personal foul penalties on Jamar Chase.
I'm
over
going to
under
take
1.5. Over under 1.5.
I'm going to take the over.
Fucking absolute petulant fucking child.
Yeah,
Stack
I'm
up,
going to take the over. I don't like that guy at all.
Yeah. Stack up. Come on. You're a professional athlete and you're getting paid handily.
Yeah.
Come on.
So yeah, if you guys want to bet with us or do a little teaser or do something weird, we're taking Jags plus 5.5. That's a team pick, and we're taking Cincy minus 7.5. That's also a team pick. We might make a little show parlay and see if we can hit.
We'll make a graphic and put it up or something.
Yeah, we'll make a little bet. Maybe we'll include that Brian Thomas touchdown and some Jamar Chase yards or T Higgins yards. We'll talk about it off air, but we'll throw something in.
Yeah, I'm definitely betting the Brian Thomas thing right when we get off this. Right when we finish up, I'm betting that right away.
Yeah.
Also, one other thing, since we are starting to do this, so we do have to have a show on Thursday sometime before the Thursday night game to pick next week's.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, we'll do a Thursday day show or something. It works for everyone's schedules.
Yeah, it would have to be day because this is Ocean's Calling weekend, so it's going to be a busy weekend for me.
Whether it be Wednesday or Thursday, just one of those days, we got to go run through our picks for the weekend.
Yep.
Right. Is this my Hall of Fame time?
Yes. This is time for Brian to do his Hall of Fame or not. This is a new segment, this is I don't know if it's going to be a one-off or maybe something we'll do semi-regularly. But Brian's going to pick some guys. Brian, you go ahead and explain.
Yeah. So basically, I'm just going to go over. It's always a little fun conversation. I know there's going to be opinions on each side. But basically, the way that we do this is if I say a name, you need to say Hall of Fame or non-Hall of Fame right away. Like you can't start giving statistics. When you hear the name, you should be able to say that's a Hall of Famer. It's the simplistic rules. So I'm going to start.
I think one stipulation. I think we don't. Neither one of us say why or why not. I think you say the name, and we'll just fucking say it.
Perfect. All right.
Done.
I'm going to start with a little bit of a homer pick. Okay, Terrell Suggs.
Yes.
Okay. London Fletcher.
No.
Ricky Waters.
No. For who? For what? Fuck that guy.
Okay. Tiki Barber.
Yes.
Tiki Barber. No.
Okay. Warwick Dunn.
No.
Eli Manning.
Yes.
Phillip Rivers.
Yes.
Hines Ward.
No.
Reggie Wayne.
Yes.
It's already in.
Did he just get in? No, he's up this year. He's up this year.
I think he's already in. I think he went in last year.
Did he?
No, fell short for a 5th consecutive year to earn a place. Okay. Keep going.
You're right.
Steve Smith Sr.
Yes.
Randall Cunningham.
No. You got to do it now.
Yes.
You got to do it now. Quick.
Yes.
All right.
Saying yes.
Lester Hayes.
I don't know who that is.
He was a wide receiver for the Raiders. He's
No.
Steve McNair.
No.
R.I.P.
Donovan McNabb.
No.
And my last one of the day, Fred Taylor, running back.
Yes.
Fragile Fred. No.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go. That's your whole thing or non-game.
I love Fred Taylor.
Ricky Waters famously alligator armed a ball in the playoffs for the 49ers. Mm-hmm. And after the game, they asked him, why didn't he go for the ball and reach out and try to catch it? And he said, for who? For what? Fuck that guy.
Ooh, that's not good. Not good.
No, we need to, Dustin, I'll send this to you if you want to make a graphic for this to see who agrees and disagrees with this.
Yeah. We can, we'll get that stuff put out on Instagram. You can interact with us more. We'll try to get as many graphics out as possible.
I have additional names like Teddy Bruschi.
We'll save them.
Save him. I'll save him.
That way we can do way we can do this more, and we can do it with like baseball and stuff.
We can do it with baseball and other sports. Yeah.
Yeah, I stuck with football. I stuck with football because I know we were going to talk about a majority of football today with the Ravens and stuff like that. After seeing the rundown, so I stuck with football, but I'll definitely bring up baseball next week, and then I'll do defensive players.
So let's do it limited to how many did you do today? Like 10?
Probably like 15.
Let's limit it to like 10. That way we don't run out of, you know what I mean?
Got it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. There is a lot, but I'll limit it to 10 a week. How about that?
Fair enough. All right. So final segment today is going to be our snake draft. Brooks won last week's hot guy draft. I can't remember the exact results, but Brian, of course, came in last. He does not want your votes. So if you listened last week to the hot guy draft or saw the graphic on Instagram, thank you for voting. Please vote on all those. It really helps us, and it makes it a lot more fun when more people vote because we get a bigger sample size, obviously. But today's snake draft is best coaches of all time. We're doing any sport. We're including college. This is going to be awesome. Brooks gets the number 1 overall pick. I go second, and we're doing this snake draft style as always. Brooks, who is the best coach of all time?
I got to go with the classic, John Wooden.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't think anybody's going to argue with you there. I think he is definitely at least in the conversation as the best.
In the conversation of top 3 to 5, I think there's a lot of arguing about who could actually be in there in the number 1 spot. So, but I'm going to go with him just because that's kind of like the old classic, and I feel like everybody has learned something from that guy.
Yeah, I'm between 2 guys here, but I'm just going to pick Phil Jackson, and maybe the other guy will make it back to me. He probably won't, though. I don't know. This is a.
I'm going to go with Mr. Vince Lombardi.
Vince Lombardi. Okay. Vince
and then
Lombardi.
I will round it out with I'm going to go Coach K. And I don't like Duke. And this is a Maryland-based podcast, but I'm going Coach K.
Yeah, he's got to be on your list somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't. Wow. I've got 2 guys. Give me Nick Saban.
No, that's what I was going with next.
Brooks is going to get the other guy with one of these 2 for sure.
Yeah, it's just who do I want to take here? I mean, I got to go Phil Jackson.
No, I took Phil Jackson.
He took Phil Jackson.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, my bad.
You should lose your turn. You should only get 4.
The hell. Give me Belichick.
Yeah, he's the other guy I was talking about.
And oh man, I'm in between 2. With women's sports on the rise here, give me Gino Auriemma.
Gino Auriemma.
Great call.
Yeah, I don't know how to spell Auriemma, but I'll figure that out.
Auriemma.
I did it.
You spell it W-I-N.
I mean, hard to argue with that, really. I think the list gets a little bit more difficult now between who we're going to pick, and it's going to become a little bit kind of biased base. I do want, because of the name of the show, I do want to take that guy, but I don't think I can. I don't think I can take him this early. I'm going to take. I'm going to go with another Bama coach. Take Bear Bryant.
Yeah.
All right, so I got 2. I'm going Red Auerbach.
I was going to take him.
Yeah.
And then I'm actually going to go hockey on this one. Herb Brooks.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Herb Brooks is a name I've heard, but not a name I'm super familiar with. So,
He's the head coach of the 1980 U.S. hockey team in the movie Miracle.
oh, okay. He's Russell, Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell played him, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think Michael Ruzioni deserves more credit than he does, but wow, this is where it's going to start getting really hard.
Yeah.
Wow. There's like 8 more guys on my list. Give me Joe Torre. Give me Joe Torre at number 4. I got to get a baseball manager in here. Brooks is going to round out his draft here.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry, Brooks. Before you pick, I had a buddy just text me this. Living in his brain might be one of the scariest things I could ever think of in my entire life. He said, "My brain is a hamster wheel with a bunch of flutes playing." Okay.
Good to know.
That was very random and weird, but I like it.
What does that mean?
Doesn't mean anything to me.
Hmm.
Brooks, give me your 2 coaches. You got.
I know. I'm struggling here. My last pick is going to be my number
get
5
2.
pick. Yeah, I know. I have my number 5 pick, but my number 5 pick is a me pick.
Okay.
It's for me.
I know who it is.
But my number 4 overall pick.
Just get it out.
Shut the hell up. Give me Bill Parcells.
I don't think it's a bad pick. I think I probably would have taken him.
Yeah.
Bill Parcells, and then his 5th pick. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I'm just going to write it into the chat right now.
Let me see if you're right. Is it in the which chat?
On the
private chat?
On the notes.
The rundown. Yeah, I got you.
I want to see. Yeah, that's
say
it. Number 5 pick is Augie Garrido.
Augie Garrido, former Texas baseball coach forever. Brooks loves that guy. So does Drew.
I hate that man. I do not like him at all. When they lost in the College World Series, they refused to come out because they thought they were a better team. And they probably were a better team. You lost. It sucks. It stinks. And I forget what year it was. But damn it, you stand out there like a man and you take your whooping. Right? You lost. It's it.
Yeah, anyway, if you're not familiar with Augie Garrido, he won 5 College World Series and 5 Big 12 tournaments. He's one of the best college baseball coaches of all time. So that's going to be a pick that probably not a lot of you are familiar with, but definitely a worthy inclusion in this list. I'm stuck between 2 guys, as I have been quite a bit. And give me the innovator of the West Coast offense and Bill Walsh.
Yep, you took mine. You took mine, man. Damn it. All right. I'm going to go with Tom Landry.
Okay. So no love for a couple guys that I thought would get picked. Tom Landry.
Don Shula didn't get taken in this.
Don Shula.
I was between Parcells and Shula is who I was debating.
Don Shula, Bobby Knight, Dean Smith, Andy Reid probably could have gone in this draft. And no love for lefty or Gary, by the way.
Well,
yeah. I mean,
I think he'd be a little biased.
As much as we love him, I don't think he's a top 5 coach of all time.
No.
Yeah.
We love Gary Williams. Obviously, we love Gary Williams. But Chuck Noll, Scotty Bowman, Casey Stengel. I put Bobby Cox down.
Mm-hmm.
And also
that's
Pat Riley.
Who?
Bobby Cox. That was a good one, Bobby Cox.
Bobby Cox and Pat Riley.
Yeah.
George
Summit.
I had George Hallis, Dean Smith.
Yeah.
You already took Don Shula.
Lou Eckrell.
Not on my list. Not on my list. That's probably about it.
Yeah,
Joe-
no, Jimmy McGinty. I wanted to pick him, but he's fictional, unfortunately. But Gene Hackman, also the coach in Hoosier. So
Joe Gibbs. You
Joe
think?
Gibbs is, yeah. I mean,
Well,
I don't hate it. He won a bunch of Super Bowls. I had Jimmy Johnson on here too, won in
Mhm.
college and in the pros, and I don't think
damn.
anybody else has ever done that.
Yeah.
I should have taken.
Um,
I didn't even think of him. I should have because he won a national title and 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Not too many people can say that.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I said Pat Summitt.
Yeah.
If you want to go more recent, Eric Spoelstra, Steve Kerr, you can go with those guys. Sparky Anderson didn't get brought up. I think he has the most wins by. Yeah, Popovich. Wow. Shit.
Holy moly!
What a miss. Oh, no. What a miss. I forgot about Popovich. Oh, no. Yeah.
I think
Wow.
Casey Stengel, I think, has the most major league wins, or it might be Tug McGraw.
I think Sparky Anderson has the most.
You might be right. It's one of those 3.
I saw somebody for the Cubs. McCarthy. It's Joe McCarthy.
McCarthy was the coach of the Murderers Row Yankees, wasn't he?
And yeah, I believe so. And the Cubs, and obviously a couple other ones.
Oh,
but-
okay. Sparky's 6th most of all time, but he was the first manager to win a World Series in both leagues. He won over 1,300 with the Tigers, which is the most by any manager for one team.
Who's the most?
Yeah.
Name the top 5.
Let's see. Number 1 is Connie Mack, 3,700 wins, which is 1,000 more than number 2, Tony La Russa.
Okay, well, no one was voting for Tony La Russa.
No one was voting for Tony La Russa, thank God.
That man would still be passed out at a red light.
Yeah, after
Might
that,
still be
it's John
passed out.
McGraw, Bobby Cox at number 4, Joe Torre at number 5, Sparky Anderson, and then Dusty Baker and Bruce Bochy round out. Terry Francona down there at number 13.
Dude,
Buck Showalter,
man,
number 19.
the Bochy man is a good pick. I mean, he's won what 4 World Series?
I think so. He won obviously 3 with
the Giants, and then 1 with the Rangers last year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
Unless there's another one we can't think of, but
Yeah.
at least 4.
Yeah. Sheriff first name with him, but Dusty Baker, want to throw him out there. Love that guy.
man still kept wearing COVID gloves even after COVID ended, or technically ended,
gloves.
or whatever. You didn't have to
Batting
wear a
gloves.
mask anymore. He kept wearing gloves. Like, that's awesome. It
he's
was like superstition. It's
he's
like
a
Rich
player,
Hamilton
man.
still wearing the mask.
What's Joe Madden doing these days?
Also, we didn't say John Madden.
Well, I know, but like that was
Only coached for like 10 years.
That's the
but
thing. Is
Very
I don't think we
influential,
can take
more
that
influential post-coaching career, I would say, than
But he's
he's
got
got more for the video game. He has the greatest winning percentage of a coach of all time. Now, the reason I didn't say Don Shula is because Don Shula, at the end of his career, was just a compiler of wins, kind of like Frank Gore compiling rushing yards.
Yeah.
And it's not a shot at them; it's just what they did. They compiled statistics to make them look a little bit better, not intentionally, just I guess intentionally, but
Frank
not.
Gore would
not
be a
with
good candidate for your segment Hall of Fame or not. I think that would be a nice little argument we could get into.
Oh, Frankie, yeah.
Yeah. Frank Gore Jr. in the league, by the way, now.
Yeah.
Believe he went to Southern Miss, which I think is where Brett Favre went.
It is, because I lived on that campus. Let me tell you something. Great food, a lot of good-looking librarians.
Oh, yeah?
I was there for work for about 9 months.
I like that. Guys, I have a bar clean in 7 minutes, so I have got to get out of here.
Cool.
That has been another episode of Gary Williams Sold My Lawn Furniture. If you guys want to do some exit stuff, if you want to talk about our subscription, go ahead, but I have to duck out. I love you guys, and I will see you next time.
Thank you guys
See you.
very much. I always appreciate you, Dusty. Good luck with the bar clean. As I say every week, I do this because I get to talk to my friends, and I love you guys, and just talk to people. All right? Be good.
Yep.
See you, buddy.
Yep. Just one last thing. Memberships are open. We're going to be doing some giveaways here soon, so keep an eye out for that. And it sounds like Thursday we'll be having another show, and we'll probably be doing that. That's probably going to be locked in stone here for the rest of the football season. So we're going to talk off air, but we'll definitely have our regular Monday, Tuesday show. And then probably adding in that Thursday, but we're going to try to nail down a more solid schedule.
Yeah.
Just so we have it, so you guys know when we're going on, and that way we can just announce whenever it changes.
Thank you to all the people that are watching live. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. We appreciate you guys very much, more than you actually probably realize, but we do.
Yep, sure do. Other than that, I got nothing else.
I have nothing else. We'll talk offline.
See you, boys.
See ya.